Hello, and welcome to Task 107, Making Cables. By now you will have made some cables that have been tested and ready for use, which we will be doing in this video along with some other procedures and connections you'll need to know. So we will print out the list of tasks we will be doing here and relocating to the 107 practice rack in the server room. You'll be able to view this tutorial on the flat screen player at the top of the station. Also make sure the cable connector kit located on rack 106 is in hand, as you'll be utilizing it for some of these tasks. As you go through each task, leave them in place and have the instructor join you at the end to disconnect them. Let's begin. For this first task, we'll be using the Ethernet patch bay under the video player. This patch bay will need the RJ45 Cat5e cable you made. To make the connection here, you will take one end of the cable and plug it into port 12, which has been assigned to you by the IT department. Then take the other end and plug it into the port on the bulkhead panel below the patch bay. When disconnecting the cable, be sure to press the release button on the connector so it doesn't get damaged. Now it's your turn. Pause the video and make the connection. Leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. For this next task, you will need the XLR mic cable you made. You'll notice on the bottom bulkhead panel two XLR chassis mounts, one male, one female. Using your XLR cable, make the connection inserting the male end into the female chassis and the female end into the male chassis. To release the cable, press the release button on each female end to disconnect. Give it a shot, pause the video and make the connection. Leave it for the instructor to see at the end. Our next task involves the video patch bay just above the bottom bulkhead. For this task, you will have to grab a video patch cable located at the end of the rack behind you. You then take the cable and patch one end into the patch labeled Camera 1. Take the other end and patch it into the patch labeled STI Router 15. Okay, it's your turn. Pause the video and make the connection. The next task involves the multi-core cable hanging from the rack. For this task, you will take the cable, line the red mark on the connector to the one on the bulkhead, and turn a quarter turn clockwise to lock the connector in place. Turn a quarter turn counterclockwise to remove it. Pause the video and make the connection. Leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. The next task is with the triax cable hanging on the bulkhead. To make the connection, you simply plug it into the female chassis. Pull a grooved ring before pulling on the connector to release it. Now it's time to pause the video and make the connection. Remember to leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. Next, we'll look at the SMPTE cable. To start, we'll remove the caps on both the cable end and the chassis. Then to make the connection, line the red mark and push the cable end into the chassis. To remove the connector, you push in on the chassis to release the connection. Now it's your turn. Pause the video and make the connection. Return to the video when you're ready to move on. For the next task, you'll need to go into the connector kit and pull out the duplex LC connectors to two ST male cable. Remove the caps on the cable and the chassis connectors and place them in the blue tray. Attach the LC connector and then plug the two ST connectors to two different ST bulkhead connectors by lining up the metal openings, and then push in and turn clockwise so the connector locks in place. Push in and turn counterclockwise to release the ST connector, and push on the release button to release the LC connector. Pause the video and make the connection. Remember to leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. On the next task, go back into the kit and look for the SC patch cable. Remove the caps on the cable ends and place them in the blue tray. And then remove the caps on the chassis connectors. Now take the cable and complete the patch on the rack, connecting each end to the two patch ports by lining the raised mark on the connector to the slot on the chassis. Now it's time to pause the video and make the connection. Remember to leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. The next task involves the BNC removal tool featured in 106 Audio Video Tools. You'll find the BNC removal tool in the drawer next to the 107 rack. On the rack, you'll see a DA with a bunch of BNCs connected to it. Below the DA, you'll find one BNC chassis connector. For this task, you'll take the BNC cable you made and attach one end to the chassis. Then, you'll take the other end with the BNC removal tool, attach it to the open spigot between two orange cables attached to the DA. Give it a shot, pause the video and make the connection. Return to the video when you're ready to move on to the next task. For the next task, pull out the electrostatic bag from the cable connector kit. Now go to the DA on the rack and open the faceplate by unlocking the two mechanisms on the front. Locate the card labeled Sierra 14 and remove it by pulling up on the white tab till it pops out. Pull the card and place it in the electrostatic bag. Then pull out Sierra 15 and place it gently into the slot you pulled 14 out of, using the guide to help you set it in place. Take card 14 out of the bag and place it into the slot 15 was in. It's your turn. Pause the video and make the connection. On this next task, pull out a pair of wires from the bag of wires in the kit, along with the punch tool in the 106 rack drawer. Then go to the audio patch bay and look for receiving point 44. Each point has 3 colors that correspond to each wire: red for red, black for black, and white for ground. Place the cable in the black clip below the receiving point, and starting at the bottom, take the ground wire, slip it into the point through 2 open slots on the corners, which should hold the wire in place. Then you'll take the punch tool and stick it into the point and push it in till you hear a popping sound. You may have to do it a couple of times to make sure it's fully in. Then pull out the excess wire and the tool and the wire is punched in. Repeat the process for the black wire and red wire. Give it a shot, pause the video and make the connection. For this final task, we'll be looking at the high voltage connectors. To make the connection here, you simply line up the odd curved ground, insert, and twist clockwise for the connector to lock in and make the connection. Twist counterclockwise to detach. Pause the video and make the connection. Remember to leave it in place for the instructor to see at the end. Once all tasks have been signed off on, the project is complete and you can now move on to the next section. Make sure to double check that all caps haven't been lost and everything is back in the kit, as well as all tools are back in the drawer. Thanks for watching. Good luck.